Okay, y'all. Two more things I want to talk about that stood out in this documentary. Um, One of the major things that stood out to me that this documentary was letting everybody know is that the very people that put in BLOOD sweat and tears, working their tail off to help put Bad Boy Records on the map, they all got cheated out of their money. The very people that worked to keep this label together were the people that didn't get anything. Another thing that stood out to me was how he pretended like he was so crazy about Biggie. That was his best friend and all of this mess. And he didn't even want to pay for his funeral. He used it as a write-off, y'all. So we're going to talk about all of that, okay? Hello and welcome to my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like this video. And thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you to my day ones, twos, and threes. Thank you to all my new subscribers that's coming in. That means well. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you all. And welcome, welcome, welcome. This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. So everything is alleged. Some is not. And the fair act use is in my description box, y'all. So let's get to it. Let's get to it. One of the people that co-founded the Bad Boy label, Kirk Barrows. I want to talk a little bit more about him. Not only did he get cheated out of 25% ownership of the company, part ownership of the company, but he also was mingle-tingly assaulted by Diddy. Word on street, okay? Kirk Barrows, a central figure in the early rise of the Bad Boy Entertainment, is speaking out in the Netflix docuseries about P. Diddy, The Reckoning, alleging that he too was assaulted by P. Diddy himself, okay? His comments appear in the fourth episode, titled Blink Again, okay? Kirk Barrows says he was subjected to behavior from Diddy that he characterized as both professional and mingle-tingle abusive, okay? He says, I'm also a victim on multiple levels with P. Diddy's. This is what he said. Kirk Barrows helped establish Bad Boy with Diddy in 1993. Y'all, that's a long time ago, y'all. And explains in the series that the problems he experienced exceeded typical workplace conflict. Not only was he abusive to him from an employer-employee standpoint, he also said that he was abusive to him in other ways. When asked off camera what he means, he said, mingle-tingly defiant ways. This is what he said. He adds that he did not want to participate in what he alleges occurred. He says, I did not want to do it. I didn't want to be around him and take care of him as he is mingle-tingling him and other people. And I talked about this yesterday about other employees, interns, and stuff like that. If the co-founder is coming forward saying that he saw interns and other employees, assaulted by Diddy, y'all don't think for 1 minute that these people are not a part of the 77 cases that's still pending. Because they were like 100. They have to throw out the people that was lying because there's a lot of people that's going to throw, and we don't know if they lying or not. They probably just they have enough proof or whatever. But ask yourself this question. Is the 77 people that's left, that's cases are pending, do they have proof? Ask yourself this question. Kirk Barrow also recounts the fallout of their business split. He says he once owned. It ain't no once owned. You still own that 25%. It don't just go away like that. And for the love of me, I don't know why lawyers is not taking Diddy to the bank. You know what I'm saying? Emptying them pockets and giving this man his 25%. It don't just go away like that. You can't just say, oh, you ain't own 25% of nothing no more. You fired. You can't just do that and somebody has stake in your company. You can't not do that. That's against the law. But that's what he did. He said he once owned 25% of Bad Boy and worked extensively during the label's early years. So he worked his tail off for nothing. Just like Lil Rob. Lil Rob said he was promised $250,000. He said before it was over with, and they showed they played all the audio of him calling Lil Rob after Lil Rob finished the project. He kept calling him, just, sending him off because he didn't want to pay him. And the crazy part, he spent this much on baby oil. He could have paid this man his money. This don't make no sense. But he give people to run around after they do a job for him. See, Lil Rob should have made him pay up half up front. And then, he had to pay the rest later on. But he should have had a concrete, had a lawyer sign paperwork that once he's finished, that he was supposed to get paid. So he could sue Diddy. Take him to court. Okay? And not this court that him and Jay-Z runs. Somebody that was going to make him give him his money. Okay? He said after he finished, that he just got the run around. He kept calling them, giving them the run around. And the next thing he know, this is what Lil Rob said. Next thing he know, he was told he was going to get $29,000. He said, okay, he'll take that because they didn't give him anything. He said he missed his kid, his family's birthdays and Christmases and all of that, being around Diddy, getting wasted, doing all kind of stuff he didn't want to do, being, just nastiness and all kind of stuff being around Diddy. But he figured he had to do it to, get paid. So he still didn't get paid. See, this is how when you selling yourself, short. And you're going against God's stuff. You know what I'm saying? You don't even still get paid after you done did all of this stuff to get that little money. You still didn't even get it. Still didn't even get it. They promised him 29 after 250,000, and he still didn't even get the 29, y'all. And that's when he came forward too after Cassie. This is what Lil Rod said. Okay. Now this is what Kurt Barrow said. He said that after P. Diddy didn't get his way or whatever, because y'all know how he is. And Kurt Barrow just got tired of his mess. Okay? He got fired. Yes, he got fired. He said he sought to recover the value of his shares through legal action. And he said that he didn't get anywhere. He did not get anywhere with that mess. Trying to take this man to court. Millions of dollars. Y'all know how much Bad Boy Records is worth. And his 25% just went out the door. He said that footage included in this episode revisit early accusations that Diddy deprived him of millions. Okay? Millions. And even ordered violent acts. Including an unproven claim that Diddy was involved in the 1996 Howling of Tupac Shakur. No evidence has ever linked Diddy to that crime. Yes, it did, because the person that said he did it, he said Diddy offered to pay him the money. That is evidence, okay? If you got somebody that was that played a part in the car and all of that other stuff, and they're telling you who paid them, or was supposed to pay him, because he ended up not paying them that. They even cheated even the guy out of the money for trying to take Tupac out, y'all. Diddy don't pay nobody. And I don't know how all of these years he got away with that. I don't understand it. Kurt Barrow said he was dismissed at the time. It was eventually labeled a RICO and a racketeering. And he said he was the first to call it. But he said I was looked on as that he was lying. Just like they did when they went to court. Everybody act like Cassie them and all these people were lying. This guy said that they made it look like he was lying too. His lawsuit was later dismissed after judges ruled the allegations were too old to pursue. They wouldn't have been old if y'all wouldn't have gave him his money in the beginning. Subsequent lawsuits were also tossed out. Okay? He filed a fresh lawsuit back in February of this year. So hopefully he gets something, y'all. And word on the street, he been living, he been living bad. He been just out here without money and everything, just getting by as much as he can. And not only that, they said that he was assaulted by Diddy. Word on the street, Diddy made him take some pack of whacker to the face as well. This is crazy. This is crazy on so many levels that don't make any sense. Another thing that stood out, like I told y'all, this was another thing that stood out to me as well. And yeah, people in the comment section is saying that Q did not tell his part. Yeah, but they showed a little snippet clip of him saying a few little words, but then they didn't go into details of what happened to him. So that's why I was like, did I miss it or whatever? Because I did see Q and I'm like, wow, what happened? Why he ain't come back and talk and say what he did? So which makes you think that 50 Cent is leaving the door open so there could be a part 2 of these miniseries, okay? Hopefully it is that people come back and they are being allowed to tell their side of the story of all the things that Diddy has did to them. You know what I'm saying? Not only on there, but in a courtroom as well. That they're being able to, sue this man. And I hope Q sues him. I hope the Q is one of the people that's going to get millions out of Diddy for what he did to him as well. Now, word on the street is Diddy allegedly made Biggie Smalls' funeral a recoupable charge. Lord have mercy. But he was on there and dancing and prancing around, two-stepping like his son be doing. I hate to say it, but I can't stand P. Diddy's son, the one that looks just like him. It's just like he's just a miniature Diddy, and he's waiting for his turn to take over and do the same thing that Diddy did to people. Because I'm telling you, ain't nowhere in the world that them kids is not going to turn out like Diddy. I don't care how they look. Okay, y'all? Even that little light-skinned one that was all over the place. They said that he was going to those little mingle-tingle parties with his daddy. Him and his daddy hosted parties. Just him and him together. Y'all remember back here when I told y'all that his son had all that baby oil all over him and Diddy had all that baby oil over him, and I was like, that was kind of suspect. Yeah, y'all, it was suspect because he was doing them parties with his daddy, y'all. He was doing it with his daddy. They showed that in the docuseries too. A former Bad Boy Entertainment executive is alleging that P. Diddy pushed for an elaborate public funeral for the notorious B.I.G. while intended for the late rapper's estate to cover the expense. So he wanted to look like he was paying for everything. And that he was, doing it big for Biggie. Putting him away really, really good. And it turns out that he made Biggie pay for his own stuff, y'all. That was another part of him stealing from Biggie and his family. Another thing is there were paperwork done. Word on the street, y'all. This was so sad to hear this part. I was like, Lord have mercy. There were paperwork done in Biggie's contract and this and that and that and this. After Biggie passed away, P. Diddy changed his contract. And this is one of the reasons why the co-owner didn't want no part of it. He was done with the things that, P. Diddy was doing. He turned around and cheated Biggie's mom out of millions and his family and his kids. Then turned around and allegedly and mingle-tingle with his son. So turn his son out. Word on the street, y'all. This is crazy. Now, the claim appears in a new Netflix miniseries that P. Diddy directed and 50 Cent produced the doc. Kurt Barrows, who previously worked alongside Diddy at Bad Boy, recalls in the series that the producer also often portray himself in the media as Biggie's closest friend. Though Barrows argued that this portrayal did not fully reflect reality. According to Kurt Barrows, the discussion about the funeral became strange once the projected costs grew. So the more that the funeral cost, the more that P. Diddy did not want to cover it. Kurt says that P. Diddy originally expressed a desire to give Biggie what he described as the biggest funeral New York had ever seen. He claims that once the planning began and the price became clear, Diddy said the cost should be charged back to Biggie's estate. Y'all, this guy is the lowest scum of the earth, y'all. The lowest scum of the earth, okay? Diddy allegedly made Biggie Smalls' funeral a recoupable charge. Y'all, you can't get no worse than this, okay? P. Diddy said, we're going to do the biggest funeral that they ever saw. Okay? He continued. This is what Kurt said. We start to put that together. He starts to see the price. He says, we're going to do the biggest funeral. but Biggie's gonna have to pay for this funeral. So his words changed to Biggie paying for his own funeral. He went on to say he was going to make the funeral be a recoupable charge to Biggie in death. P. Diddy doing a big show looks good on him, but he's not going to tell the world that Biggie was going to pay for it. But they did. Oh, they told the whole 9 yards, y'all. Okay? Biggie, whose legal name is Christopher Wallace, was taken out in Los Angeles on March the 9th, 1997. His funeral took place March 18 at the Frank E. Campbell Funeral Chapel in Manhattan. I'll be in there in a minute. Give me a second. What's wrong? What's wrong? Where family members Diddy, Faith Evans, Lil Kim, Lil C's, D-Rock, and many others gathered to honor him. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Made the man pay for his own funeral. And then did y'all see that big show that he put on, the Missing You song and all of that stuff, and he prancing all around the stage? And did y'all hear the part? Did y'all hear that part about they were going to put Biggie on the cover after Biggie had passed, and he didn't want Biggie on the cover. He wanted that opportunity to push his label, so he took the spotlight off of Biggie to put it on himself. Because they said that he the one that wanted that spot. I don't know why, but this guy reminds me so much of Mo3's manager. So-called manager, if that's what you want to call it. This guy reminds me so much of that manager that he wanted that spotlight away from Mo3. He didn't have no talent in the world, but he wanted that spotlight. It was like he couldn't stand seeing Mo3 do interviews and all of that stuff. He act like he was in his corner, but it really wasn't. That's what I saw. My personal opinion. And he reminds me of this guy right here. Dirty, just will do anything to come up off of people. Put together stuff so they can get paid off of it. He can get paid off of it. Cheat people out of their money and all of this other stuff, line people up. I don't know, that he just seemed to have those same tendencies. I'm just saying, y'all. I'm just saying. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about this whole situation. Scum of the earth, y'all. This guy right here is, according to what this documentary is saying, and what we've been hearing for years. 4 years about Diddy, and we got it has people out here literally defending this piece of scum, and they still defending him. I don't get it, y'all. I don't get it, but it is what it is. My personal opinion, the scum part, my personal opinion, and probably so many others as well. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about this whole situation. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like this video, and thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.